Today we're going to be touching on the coupe, and I know it's been a while, but for the first time ever, I'm about to take this car on a test drive, and I'm going to take you guys with me on the head mount. Apologies in advance if it's not the best view. Let me know. I'll probably switch up perspectives, but for future reference. But I'm going to take it out on the road for the first time ever. And just a little background story, I bought the car summer of 2019, so this is right before COVID happened. And it has never left my garage since. The only time I've ever physically driven the car is when I drove it into my garage off of the flatbed when it dropped it off at my house. And, almost down to the date, I would say. Well, almost close, I guess, a few months out, but 2 years later, it finally gets to leave under its own power. And, it's a little shakedown. I get to see what it needs and, what I like and what I don't like. So, without further ado, enjoy. This lady's waiting for. Please drive off. Thank you very much. First impressions, this thing is ungodly slow, and yeah, doesn't really have much to it. Then again, I'm kind of spoiled. My daily driver has 450 horsepower, so this is ridiculously underwhelming, but it brings me back to good memories, college days with my first car, which was a 99 Outback Sport Wagon, Impreza. So surprisingly, for original struts, this thing doesn't ride too bad. I'm shocked, actually. I expected this to be a lot rougher. It's actually surprisingly smooth. But then again, it's probably the tires I put on this thing. Now, don't try any of what you see at home, because this is all literally just a test drive in a car that is not registered. It's not insured. So what I'm doing is actually pretty bad. But it's just a local test run just to see how things go, and give this car a little bit of a shakedown and reward myself for, I guess, attempting to make this thing not as bad as it was when I received it. You could tell, obviously, this thing still needs a lot of work. You see problem areas here and there, like things rattling and things not working as effectively. But it's okay. This could be a lot worse. I'm actually very surprised and oddly pleased. I see that there's room for improvement, definitely. get to the stop sign here. It's my first time even really using the brakes in this car at all either. Because for braking in this car, I've changed the front calipers and replaced all the rotors and pads. I bled the brakes, but you know, steering wheel's off to the right, well, sorry, to the left. This thing has structural damage, but nothing a frame machine can't fix. So, like I said, once again, this thing is surprising that it's actually not as bad as I originally thought. I put a steering rack in here. You know, there's a really sucky job to do on the floor, on your back. And I'm actually surprised. This thing is impressing me right now. Yeah, this car did a lot better than I expected. This car did much better than I expected. I'm just now learning that my door doesn't like to stay unlocked. It self-locks. So I'm actually really happy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually really happy that I kept the window down, which is something you should always do when you're working with any car. You should always keep the windows down. And I'm seeing smoke out of the hood. I'll get back to you guys in a second and check that out. Before I do any of that though, I'm going to actually drive the Audi and I guess kind of give a comparison and kind of talk a little bit, touch a little bit on, you know, how each car makes me feel, if that makes any sense. This is me and my daily driver, my Audi S6. So I'm going to take you guys for a little bit of a ride and put it in dynamic mode and show you the incredible difference that 20 some odd years does. I mean, obviously it's not the same brand as the project car, as the GC, if you will, air quotes. But yeah, this is a different kettle of fish, if I do say so myself. Just got it tinted recently with 25% tints all around, so it's much more comfortable to be in this car now in sunny weather. So without further ado, I'll take you guys on a small rip from my perspective. Just fix you guys here for a little bit, move you guys over. 1 second. Should be about right. Somewhat. Okay. I'm just hearing the sounds of the engine, a cold one I may add, so I'm not going to beat on it, but you know, little drive. So it's cold. What else about it? 7-speed DSG, so you could hear all that as well. Kind of just holds on to gears in dynamic mode, which is like this car, or I should say Audi as a brand, their sport mode is known as dynamic mode. Just taking you guys in this neighborhood. Engine slowly warming up. Let the windows down in a second so I can get some air circulation in here, because it is 59 degrees but partly cloudy, so plus this car's been sitting in the sun, so it's hotter than normal in here. But yeah, so you know, this one I have 6 piston brakes up front, bucket seats from factory, as you guys can kind of see there, and yeah, so braking power, you being held in by actual bolstering, is a huge difference when it comes to enthusiast driving. And like I said before, this car has 450 horsepower, 406 foot-pounds of torque. I mean, that's at least what Audi advertises it as, but according to, I believe, APR, they put it on a dyno and got 488 out of a bone stock one. So I feel like numbers are subject to, you know, conditions and whatnot, but I feel like what Chevy has done with the Corvette in the past, Audi has done with some of their cars, and pretty much undersold them. Now, the reason being, I don't know, but based off of my experience, this car, you know, my butt dyno, if you will, tells me this thing is probably a 500 horsepower car, just off the lot, which is nuts. Things are pretty cool. Much more lively feel, obviously, because I have 2 turbos and 4 more cylinders over the Subaru that I just drove. So the comparison is, it's not even fair, really, but you know, it's what I got. Still letting everything kind of warm up, saying it's up to temp, but still want to let it get to proper conditions before you really get on it. So I'm gonna lower the windows now. Hopefully that doesn't bother you guys too much. There we go. Not really sure if you guys can see this too well, but right about there, kind of hard to get under here and see, but the head gaskets are looking like the culprit. I'm not seeing a leak coming from the pan. Pan is dry, thank God. And yeah, it looks like it's just the head gaskets that are leaking, and this motor actually knocks a little bit on startup, so it's a sign the rod bearings are beginning to fail, which is fine. This motor's not staying in this car, but you can see I got new ball joints, tie rod ends, sway bar end links. Yeah, so not sure how much you guys can see down here, but I did quite a bit of work to make this thing stop leaking coolant and oil, only to find out it's still leaking oil. So yeah, it turns out that head gaskets are my problem, but it's okay. This car has definitely seen better days, but not better days than my ownership, besides being brand new, because there was a lot of things I had to kind of run through in this car before I could even do this test drive, and I'm happy I did. You know, things could have been much worse, and I'm glad that they're not. So this was just a little short video for you guys. This thing is in dire need of an alignment, and Probably should carry a couple jugs of oil with this thing if I plan on driving it anymore. Of course, when it's registered and insured and inspected and so on and so forth. But yeah, just a little update for you guys at home. Thanks for watching.